Right, so I am really annoyed at myself. I've literally been filming for like the past hour and a half probably, and I've only just realised that I didn't have it on record, which is, pretty annoying, especially as I had some like really interesting hands, which I haven't got in a while because there's not really been a great deal of action at the high stakes table for a bit. But as you can see, we've won a few good pots. I think this turn I can just fire a small bet out now. Probably prefer still just to be checked, but yeah, he just gave up on the turn. So we get folds from everyone, and he goes for like not the sort of conventional sizing which you see from the small blind opens. Nevertheless, we'll still just raise it up to the usual 9x. It's tempting just to shove this one, but in position, especially when we're deeper, probably just want to call with ace king. What a flop, let's go. What also makes this good is quite often you see a lot of shoves from ace kings pre-flop. I guess our hand kind of looks a bit more disguised. I will start off betting once he checks it over, because you're still going to get calls from like his ace queens, ace tens, ace jacks, those sort of hands which do check it over. You'd usually expect him to be betting this flop, but he does check over. It's definitely not the cleanest of turn cards, because it means that, you know, he can be more likely to get away from hands now. But we have the king of hearts, and he's kind of limited with his ace x of hearts which he can have. So we're still going to want to be betting. I also probably expect him to bet most of his like ace five of hearts on the flop. Those sort of nutted hands which he can have. Like, yeah, nevertheless, we're definitely shoving. Ace 9. Huge pot, let's go. And he's out of there. So we played that pretty perfectly. Just calling with the ace king pre-flop worked perfectly, because if we would have put in a 5 bet, he snap folded ace 9. And the fact we did bet the flop, bet the turn, the sizings we did, just set us up perfectly for a river shove. Now I've got ace queen in the big blind. I'm actually gutted that I forgot to put the recording on for my earlier hands, because this session I've had so many big hands, which I've kind of been looking for, because my last videos have just been sessions where there's not really been much happening. And then the one time where I'm actually getting loads of good action, loads of good hands, bloody forget to click the record button, don't I? But at least we get a big 14k pot, which is good, and one that we won, which is, I mean, I'm sure people don't care if I'm losing big or winning big, but it's better for me, of course. Wow, we're really picking up some hands this session. Ace is now in the big blind. Unfortunately, he's only sitting on a 50 or so big blind stack, but Roman's not. Come on, let's get some big action. Nah, we don't, unfortunately. Could have gone tad smaller with the sizing, but 20 big blinds when we're 4 betting against a 3 better out of position is pretty much just the standard sizing. We are going to actually throw in another 3 bet against Roman with the jack 10 this time. That's not what I wanted. Jeez, we just can't stop picking up monsters at the moment. 8-8 jack board. I'm actually just going to get a bit trappy here and check back the kings. I'll start to bet the turn now though. And he calls pretty quickly. To be honest, the way I've just checked back flop, bet out on the diamond turn card, definitely could just look like a missed diamond draw. So I think going for an over bet, trying to just target a jack here. If he raises, then it's just a complete snap fold, because he's never raising with any bluffs really. Yeah, we get called. Wow, okay. He does go for a real hero call there. So that check back on the flop with kings just worked perfectly. Again, played that really nicely. Getting a bit tricky with the check back on the flop, bet and turn, and then going for the overbet sizing on the river. Just kind of created a bit of a weird looking line. Here, I opened up jack 6 suited. It's kind of a bit marginal. Like, it's fine just folding this sort of hand. With some of our stronger jacks, I definitely can still want to be betting this one, getting value from draws, but with the jack 6 suited. Just going to work nicely as a check back. It is tempting to bluff this one with a weak kicker, but I think we definitely have enough show that, yeah. He did have ace-jack, which is why I was saying could potentially bluff it, because he is going to have quite a few jacks with stronger kickers there. But there was also quite a lot of missed stuff he had that we beat, so I don't think a bet was necessary. 2024 has been a very tough start for me, so it is nice to actually finally be picking up some good hands. We just get a small blind call. Go in for like a 75% sizing. I think works quite well here, especially when we've not got the ace of spades. He raises us. I mean, this could, potentially be a bit of a troublesome hand. He is going to have some 6s, 7s, which calls. But there's still a lot of draws out there. Wow, he goes huge. I think I'm just going to make a really tight laydown. I don't often see this guy having too many crazy bluffs. Like, I just think we're up against sets, perhaps a queen jack, but I'm just getting out of the way of that with aces. The river potentially was a good card for us because he can also have some 6, 7 suited, which would have been counterfeit with the jack on the river. But yeah, nevertheless, when he was just going for those sizings, I think just getting out of the way of that with aces was fine. I'd probably expect it to be a GTO call, but you've got to make exploitative plays based on who you're against if you think they're capable of coming up with huge bluffs in spots like that. I just didn't think that was looking very nice at all. Some of these sort of suited connector type hands quite liked being raised blind v blind, and we just get a nice fold from the small blind, which is good. So I've also got this 1k table open, and I bet big on the flop, and he's raised me up. Had so many outs, but the problem we do have now is that the board has paired. He sizes down a lot now though. I think we're just cooling, but okay, he snapshot it. I mean, he just had 6s or queen 10. I'm just confident he had a boat there. So Luke goes for a 3x open from the button, which I don't ever really see from him. We're still going to raise with ace-jack, perhaps because we're sitting slightly deeper. But yeah, we just get fold pre. Over on this table, I literally just bet one big blind on the flop. We'll just check turn. Don't particularly want to see any bets. I think I can just check back. I think... Yeah, I think there's just not enough we can get value off with the 5 of clubs. Oh, aces, let's go. I mean, what in the world is this sizing? I'm just going to re-raise him, but I'm not going to go crazy with the sizing, because I mean, I don't know what the hell this is, so I kind of want to keep in a mixture of hands when we've got aces. I want to trap, but the way he's played this, I just think he's got like kings or at the minimum queens. Like, I'd usually trap this, but I just don't think he's ever folding. Like, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, queens, that's what I said. At the minimum. No. Well, it's a good job we didn't trap, I guess. Well, at least we win one, and at least I didn't trap. You just get that feeling when someone's strong and they're not folding, and in which case you just want to get the money in with aces. I've got aces again. This has been hell of a session, and I've had a period where it just feels like I've had like no premium hands whatsoever. So when you get one of these sessions, when you're constantly picking up the good hands, it just feels even better. No action this time. Unfortunately, the table just folds round. Not a good flop. We're not going anywhere just yet, though, to just a single bet on the flop. Now that he just checks back the turn, I expect us to be ahead most of the time. I mean, he can still have like check backs with aces, but I expect he's just stabbed the flop with... Okay, yeah, he had a 10, which definitely makes sense, him just checking back. So we called the ace-3 from the big blind here, and also on... which two? And also on this table we've got ace-10, which we'll raise. Get folds here, and we're also going to want to be raising this. Nice. Alright, we get a good flop here with the Jack-7. Unfortunately, he doesn't bet flop. I think with this club turn, going for an overbet's quite nice. Because say he has like 10s with a club, which you're going to see quite a few checkbacks. But that river card is, you know, one of the worst in the deck. But I think I can actually still block bet 10%. Like, this block bet can actually be quite, like, you can still just get calls from those hands which I was on about, like 10s with a club. And you'd think quite a lot of his queens are going to be betting flop. The thing is, what checks back flop that raises river? I think I've just got a call. Not loving it, but yeah. Quite a decent value raise from him on the river. So Queen 10 suited will raise when Colonius opens from the button. Man, I've gone from just picking up so many nice hands and just hitting flops to just hitting nothing. Let's hope just the flop bet can get this one through. Unfortunately it doesn't. I think this turn card we probably just want to give up on. Okay, that's not a bad river card though. Come on, give us a check back. I can play queens exactly like this, and I am just going to shove. Like, his sets don't play like this. We have a blocker with the queen. I do just think we're up against a single ace. And yeah, come on. Huge bluff, let's go. He's just sitting on 65 big blinds, so we'll go for a bit of a smaller open than we usually would out of position. Come on. Give us a shove. Yes. Let's go. Queens. Come on. Right, let's hold this time. Okay, good. Although, it's only the first board. Nah. I just... I mean, at least the all-in EV line is looking better. Jerry Z does 3-bet us. We've not got a big enough hand sample, but I'm pretty sure he does tend to open and 3-bet quite wide, so we'll definitely 4-bet with jacks. I'm not going to love it if he shoves though, because jacks, you know, it starts to look one of those where you're just praying it's ace king. But yeah, he just folds. I'll also 3-bet ace king from big blind. And Jakobsvili, whatever the hell his name is, Russian player, tends to be quite tight pre-flop. So I'm definitely going to mix in some calls with the 8s and yeah, snap fold. We get 4-bet. Yeah. Oh, wow. He snaps it. Nice. Starting to get pretty hungry now. So I'm probably going to make this one of my last hands. I'll start just with a check over. Once he starts to bet out, I'll put in a raise, because we definitely have the nut advantage on this board. And we've still got backdoor clubs. We've got an overcard. Alright, so 6. I mean, you know, you probably don't expect the 6 to be good much of the time. But also, we're going to have a really hard time folding out kings. He can still have some 2s, 7s. I think if he bets on this turn, I've just got to fold, because our 6 is never good. Like, there's no like major draws on this board. And yeah, we're just getting out of the way of this. Oh, would have been a 6 on the river. And I mean, there is a chance that even the 6 wouldn't have been good there if he has a set. So as usual, I hope you enjoyed the video. I put a lot of time and effort into editing and making these, so I would really appreciate it if you click that subscribe button if you've enjoyed the content. And yeah, stay tuned for the next video.